Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is December 18th. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Last week, apologize. My daughter was sick. My work had some emergencies, so I couldn't make any videos last week. Apologize for that. I don't know. I got a little cold or something going on. Hopefully, that just goes away before the holidays. This market had a catalyst last week. Was Jerome Powell, FOMC, CPI, and we really broke out to the upside last week. So, not like that's a newsflash to anybody, but that's what we did. And then on Friday was quad witching, and we basically pinned around large gamma strikes in a bunch of stocks, and the SPY and the Qs didn't have much movement at all. That's what happens sometimes on quad witching. You get pinned to large gamma strikes as they just stick to one strike, which they did, especially in Apple. One of the largest strikes was 197 and a half, and that's where you basically got pinned there. So just one example. There's many stocks that did that as well. So that's what happened there. And this week got a little bit of light news. This week we got GDP, but then on Friday we got PCE, which is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge. So without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market. Also use gamma exposure level, supply and demand, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the preceding day. This all helps me be on the right side of the market. Okay? So I choose to use this to have me structure my trades. So, really helps stay with strength. Obviously I can look at trends and stuff like that, but this structure just real easy on the eyes to just look real quick and see, where's everybody trading, where's everybody's positioned. So that's why I like to use it. All right. So if you haven't subscribed, set an alert. That would mean a lot to me. If you like my content, please give me a thumbs up. You can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. You can get right into the futures watch list. All right, let's do that. All right, let's look. We got the VIX. It's elevated a little bit, up 2.2%. Still pretty much at complacency at 12.55. Crude is moving all over the place. It was up, then it was down, now it's up. Okay, so crude's kind of bottoming out. I'm really liking crude for next year. Energy. Okay, I like some plays. If you're looking at Chevron or Exxon, look at the charts. Okay, so yes, this year they had they've had an up and down year, but basically negative. The war spiked it a little bit in Israel and Palestine, but it came back down, and then it's kind of bottoming out at this level. So, excuse me. All right, Russell made a huge move. I think that was the fastest ever to make a 52-week low and a 52-week high. I think it took it 7 weeks, 33 days or something like that was a new record. So crazy move in the Russell. ES is up 0.25. Silver is up 0.21. The Dow's up 0.19. Nasdaq's up 0.13. Gold's pretty much slightly up. All right, 30-year bonds are pretty much flat. They were up more before. 10-year yield will report at 8.20. It should probably be flat, but we're underneath 4.4% yields. So the dollar is down slightly. Okay, that dollar has been taken down a bit. Bitcoin's down 3.10. Ether's down 5%, 0.33%. Some things to note that happened over the weekend. Not over the weekend, not only on Friday, was the Fed, Williams, Goolsbee, are walking back cuts. The president of New York, the Fed president of New York, I believe that's Williams, on Friday, he was like, we're not even really talking about rate cuts. They're all trying to walk back, Goolsby, I believe, said like the market's way ahead with these rate cuts. They're trying to walk back a little bit of maybe Powell's comments. So market really hasn't reacted to that too much, but they're definitely trying to walk it back a little bit. So that's interesting to note. Let's move on to stocks. I like the day trade and swing trade. Um, right now we have Netflix coming in as a leader, up 0.72. Nvidia up 0.53. Amazon's up 0.39. Now Amazon's been kind of coiling up, so very coiled. Um, Broke out, then failed, but staying there, it could make a move. Santa Claus, if that Santa Claus is still coming, that could be a big move in Amazon. All right, Tesla's still chugging along after um, breaking that balance to the downside on the FOMC day and then ripping higher. So that's still looking good. AMD, Google's flat. If you look at Google, it's been a little weaker. Okay, and let's round at the bottom. You have BABA down. Asia had a slip in stocks. I think they reacted to some of the central bankers kind of pulling back the rate cuts. Apple is down 0.71. I saw some news about again at China about curbing bringing iPhones to work. Snow down 0.77. Coin obviously with Bitcoin's down 2.64%. Okay. Let's move on to top sector stocks. Okay. So we got Exxon and Chevron getting love. Okay. I just talked about that. You look at those charts, they had some nice moves down to some key levels. So, excuse me. Costco's a monster. I mean, that chart is ridiculous. So, what else we got? We got who's negative? Qualcomm and Disney. Okay. They are the laggards, which is not that big of a laggard, right? Let's go to the sectors. All right, what do we have here? We have energy, no surprise, leading the pack, 0.18, and everything else is down. The weakest is staples, real estate, and utilities. So very interesting. These are defensive, and people, it looks like, are rotating out of them a little bit. Okay. Maybe, possibly rotating out of them just for this Santa Claus rally. Because we could possibly, again, I'm not making a prediction, have a recession next year, and then I believe those would be bought. But if Santa Claus comes, they could be pushing into the tech stocks for the end of the year, into the beginning of January, and then the rotation might change. So we'll see. We'll see about that. All right, let's move on to some economic news and the calendar. Give me one sec here while I bring that up. And I've already talked about it briefly, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it. Today we don't have much. All right. Tuesday, not much. Wednesday, just the home sales, and then Thursday is your GDP, initial jobless claims. Friday, that's where you have the core PCE. So Friday is the big data before basically Christmas starts. That's what we got going there. Now I didn't finish looking at my upgrades and downgrades, so let's just look at those. Let's see any to note. Upgrades. Let's see upgrades. Salesforce. So Salesforce got an upgrade. That was up earlier. That ton of paired its gains. That was up earlier. That's probably why it was up, but now it's not. Downgrades. AbbVie, Affirm, ARM. Let's see what else here. I'm just looking for notable stocks. Nokia downgrade. Novartis downgrade. Palo Alto. That's interesting. Downgrade from outperform to market perform. Roku. Shopify downgrade. Interesting. else here? Just trying to look at stocks that everybody knows. It looks like Micron, let's see, reiterate a price target change to outperform. All right, price target from 78 to 100. So that's good for semis. All right. Anything here? Yeah, see, Fed Mester at 6 a.m. today. Market's a bit ahead of central bank on rate cuts. So they're trying to walk back stuff. I don't think it's working too much, but that's what's going on. All right. I don't think I have much to add there. Let's go to the daily charts. Let's look at those daily charts. I have some little bit of notes from the weekend. I mean, there's not much to like really glean, but let's just see. All right. So let's look at this a little closer. So we got this trend, right? We have a trend line here that got hit, pushed up. We broke out, right? Holding this trend, pulled back, not quite to the trend line, right? We had a little pullback. Now we're consolidating kind of. So that's still bullish. Okay, that's bullish structure. Right? That's bullish. If we go to my key levels here, $472 is a key level. That was resistance. Okay, that was resistance. And you can see the previous weeks, not last week, the week before last week, that was the high and low. So you can see like we were higher, low for each week. Finally made the big breakout last week with the catalyst. Right, where are we at now? 470. We're at 470, 73. So we're right at the highs. Yeah, we're right at the highs of Friday. Right? So the market's still bullish in structure. Okay. Now, if everybody's thinking we're going to get a correction or a pullback, it's either going to be a pullback to 460 or we just consolidate here. That's also just taking a breather before you move higher for Santa Claus. So we have to see. All right. Could rest this week and then wait for the move. Okay. Let's move on to the Qs. So the Qs had a big breakout, right? Because look, the oranges are weeklies, right? So that there's a week, there's a week, there's a week, right? So you had 3 weeks of balance basically. And then wham, you just take a big move, have this trend here above all the moving averages, and now we're just consolidating. Now this is stronger consolidation in the Qs. Moved up, you had this one little pullback, bought up, and you move sideways. Okay. Now where is that now? That's at 404.90. 404.90. It's like right in the middle of, or an upper third of Friday's session. Okay. So this is bullish structure. Really no if ands or buts about it. Okay. Now we can move on to let's look at that the bond market, right? Let's go to our triple-headed monster here. And the bond market again is down 0.48%. Just look at that fall. Just crazy fall in yields. All right, so we're down here. We're at 3.9 right now, right at that level I have here on the chart. Next move down is to 3.6. Okay, below the 200-day moving average. So this is, if we fall again, which would be wow, it's gonna fuel the market to the Santa Claus. Okay, VIX we don't need to look at. It's just not doing much. Okay, let's look at that dollar. On the dollar today, we're in a range here, right here. Okay, next move down would be to 101.42. Okay, excuse me. All right, so that's the look at that. Now, some notes that I had over the weekend. XLK is at all-time highs. Um, there's not a lot of stuff. There's not a lot of edge to some of these things right now. If we look at XLK at all-time highs, right? Let's look at the second largest sector now is financials. Just parabolic. There's not much to look at. There's not a lot of good structure here. Then we go to healthcare. Healthcare is the only one that had a pullback to a key level. Okay, let's change this to trend lines. Okay, it broke trend here and then pulled back. That's one I'm interested in. If you look at healthcare stocks, kind of pulled back a little bit. XLY finally had that huge move. So it was this kind of sloppy melting up, and then finally, boom, with Tesla, it ripped. Okay, that was one waiting to rip. Semiconductors way at all-time highs. Same with industrials. And then we got to look at XLE, which is energy sector. That's what I like. This is what I'm liking right now. It crossed the 200, that then fell behind it, but this had a weak year right now so far. Okay, and XLU also, it's got to pull back to an uptrend. It's negative again this morning. But see, this was all the way down here, 54, came all the way up, crossed the 200-day moving average, closed below the 200-day moving average, right? But if you look at the trend lines, holding trend here. So I mean, it's below the 200-day moving average, and you have a downtrend line coming into it. So it's not in the best place, all right? And finally, I'll just talk about communication sector is the one that has not what you call it? It's at the top here at 71. It's hit its head there. Google's been a little weak, right? But if you look at a long-term chart, let's say I'll just show you guys this real quick. Let's go to sectors here, and we'll just go to a monthly. Show you guys the monthly of XLC. If you look at it relative to all the other stocks, it's been weak. Look at the all-time highs is 86.36. We're still down here. But look at this level here. Here's a month resistance. Here's another month's resistance. Here's another month, last month's resistance, and this month's resistance. Okay, that's one sector I'm kind of looking at. All right, look how far away it is from all-time highs, and a lot of other sectors are at all-time highs. Okay. Like, look at discretion. Discretionary is another one that's got room. But some of the other ones, look at semis, all-time highs, right? Because these are monthlies. Financials, not there yet either. Technologies, at all-time highs. Healthcare, nowhere near it. Industrials, all-time highs. Then you got staples, this has been a little weaker. Real estate's been a lot weaker. And utilities is way far. So you see some defensives have a lot of room to grow. And if we go to a recession next year, like I don't know if we will, but if we do, those defensive sectors should get some love. Okay? That's kind of what I wanted to recap there. A little stuff from the weekend. As far as stocks that I have my eye on, it was Google, Microsoft, Meta, and then the healthcare stocks, Eli Lilly, United Healthcare, PepsiCo, Johnson & Johnson, and CVX. That's what I'm really looking at for this week. But let's get out of here. Let's go to market profile. Not going to spend a lot of time because we're kind of moving sideways. But let's see what we can see structure wise, okay, in the market. All right, let's see what we can see structure wise. Because we're moving sideways, okay, and of course this is my baby here. This is the way I like to look at the market, right? So let's look at it together. All right, so this gives me the rolling week profile. So here you got a little volume here, but then you got the big move, and look at the volume. Okay, now basically what this shows us is the big move up, and guess what? We're holding it. You want to call that a bull flag, whatever. All that means is we're holding the higher prices, right? We tried to go lower here, tried to go lower here, and we haven't. So the bulls are holding up the market, okay? Obviously, if we take these out, we could possibly test because you don't have the strongest structure here. Look at the volume here. Not a lot of support. So if we do break this, we could fall back down to here. Then Santa Claus can bring us maybe back or higher. Okay. So the most traded price of the week is right here. That is 47.68. So as long as we stay above that, pretty much safe. The bulls are holding the market up. Okay. Now if we go to Friday session, there's the lows, there's the highs, right? Now we have a slight gap up right now. Okay, you can see price. We can make this bigger. Okay, so let's go back. So we got Friday's low, Friday's high. Here's the overnight high, overnight low. So you can see right here, right, we're gapping up slightly. I wouldn't call it a huge gap, but we are. Okay, even this profile has a bullish imbalance. Look, it's holding all up there. Usually you correct this and you make a bell curve, okay? But you have a supply right up here. Okay, so you have to really see, as long as we hold this level, the most traded price of the week, you got to think bullish. And now look, what do you have? You have 3 highs here that have yet to be hurt. So there's shorts in here. And you have supply above. Okay, this is what we have going. Now, one important thing to note. I want to show you guys something. Excuse me. We are 100% net long here. Here's the open of the overnight. All activity is long. Okay? And we're about to go into a supply zone. So if we correct this bullish imbalance, right, which just means you make a bull curve, you're going to create excess to the top here. Then you have 100% net long and you're gapping up. Okay? Sometimes that can signal a little bit of a fade. Doesn't mean it's bearish for the overall market, but you could come back and test this area. Okay, because now everyone's long from here and here. Okay. Now, one other thing to note. You have a weak low here. Okay, this is the place where the market has to defend. Right here. Right here, the most traded price of the week and the most traded price of Friday. Also happens to be the overnight low. So think about this. If everyone's long from Friday's low, and now everyone's long from the overnight low. If we come back down here, take out the overnight low, take out the most traded price of Friday and the week, well, this could cause a move lower. Okay? This could be the pullback that everybody's waiting for. Alright, so let's just get into scenario. I've already really talked about it, but we can just map it out together. Okay, if you're bullish, alright, the market wants to stay bullish. Here's your defense. you have to defend the most traded price of the week and the most traded price of Friday and the overnight low. Simple as that. Doesn't matter what the market does up here. As long as it comes back down here and you defends it, right? Then if if it finds support, you're going to then test these highs up here in this supply zone here, and you could make the move to the next supply zone. Okay. Obviously, one other one, if it does come up here and break this, right? Well, then the next test is around this area here. 50% of this big move was 47.28, so let's just say around this area. That's the 50%. I would say one test would be this low, right? It could come back, but it could fall all the way down here. And if it finds some footing, that could also be a lift up, right? I'd be cautious down there, but that's just another play. All right, if you're bearish, okay, I just gave you some situations before. I said 100% net long at the top of the range. It's incomplete, doesn't have excess to the top. If you put that excess in and you're gapping up, come into the supply, start to fail, you start to get some people. Now look, this is the overnight most traded price here. But you cross that, you're going to go down to the lows. Next test is this week low I talked about. If you break it and hold, we're probably going to test this swing low here. All right. Now, if the market comes down here, it's really, there shouldn't be much support, single prints. If it is support, well, you have to think long, because this shouldn't be support. So whenever you see something like single prints with very skinny volume, that should not hold the market, but if it does, that's bullish. Okay, that's bullish. So that's the scenarios for the ES. Okay. As far as the Nasdaq, let's look at the Nasdaq together. Nasdaq's a little different. You can see it wasn't such a big move up. Excuse me. It's a little different scenario in the Nasdaq. Right? There's no single prints. So here's the move. And look, we've already had a low here. But look at this profile. It is begging to go higher. Look at this profile. Look at how much incomplete there is to the upside. You know, every usually distribution of a market always has a bell curve. So look, that's a bell curve. So it is begging to move to the upside based on the profile. Begging. Look, you got all these highs that are waiting with shorts to get shorts to cover. So this looks very bullish to me. Okay, very bullish. Does not look bearish at all. It's just queuing up for a move, really. Now it doesn't have 100% net long, doesn't have that. And see, the Qs is different, right? Look, it's inside Friday session, which is not like right off the bat for a trade. That's not great. Okay, but look where it's holding. Most traded price of the week. Price is right above it. Okay, and it's just coiling. Really, it's coiling and holding these levels. I mean, once, okay, yeah, we went up here, and this is the corrective move right there. And ever since then, it's been a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So you can't really argue that it's bullish. Overbought, yes, all those things. But it's showing strong structure. Okay. So we have an inside session. Friday high, Friday low. You're inside. So for me, you know, you have a demand zone down here. That's really where you want to see the market test. All right. Obviously, The most traded price is here. You could fall under that, but if this demand holds, you can really move there. Okay. So real quick for that Nasdaq scenarios, around 16885. Excuse me. Around here, if that gets broke, you're going to get a big move, a decent move to the upside, right? So you come down to this demand, it holds, you hold above the most traded price, you could really break that resistance. Okay, this could still be bullish right down here in the structure wise. If you came down, broke that, and then you have a demand down here, and that holds, you could still move. Okay, now bearish side, you have supply here. If it fails again, obviously you could make a move down here. All right, if you break this demand, you're going to test this demand. If it breaks, this is the, I think, more important one here. If it breaks this level, it's also the 9 EMA daily, then you could possibly move down to the 20-day simple moving average on a daily. But I don't know, right? Santa Claus, we're in a seasonality bullish month, right? So I think if you get a move down here, that's probably people are going to buy this pullback, right? And either fuels it higher, we just have to see. Okay. All right, so that's what I'm looking at today. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please subscribe, set an alert. If you liked the content, please give me a thumbs up. All right, you can always follow me also on X at Gonzo719. So I'm gonna sit back today. It's Monday, and see really what's gonna happen here. Believe it or not, there's still more room to the upside to hurt some shorts because we've been kind of balancing the last couple days. So we have to see. We could get it correct. We could pull back too. The structure is there. It's bullish. All right. So we have to see. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Good luck. Stay green if you put a trade on, and if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow.